So, welcome. My name is Jerome Lewis. I am your host for this video, and I want to talk about something. There's a lot going on. I was just saying on one of my coaching masterminds, and we were talking about the changes that are coming within the real estate space. And changes are coming, believe me, right? I participate in a lot of real estate forums, a lot of groups. I do speaking engagements, etc. And one of the things that I keep seeing is that buyers agents are in trouble, right? So if you're in real estate and you help out buyers, essentially you're in trouble. And that's what most people are saying. And I'm going to give you some context on why people are saying that, right? So there's a few things happening, right? National Association of Realtors, that big company, right? Most of us know what that is if we're like involved in real estate somehow, right? But it's, what can we call it? It's an organization for real estate professionals, and they help mostly real estate agents and real estate. They try to help enforce like practical and realistic laws that try to keep things fair within the real estate space, right? So there was a lawsuit because there was sexual harassment taking place within that organization by some of the top leaders, and that's a big thing, right? Additionally, there is another big case, a big lawsuit that involves RE/MAX, which is a national real estate brokerage, and the Realogy, which is also another national real estate company. And these companies, they just went to court, and I actually have some notes that I took. So you can see on the screen, that's the first one. Redfin, another big real estate company, they're leaving National Association of Realtors, and they're encouraging their brokers and agents to do the same thing. So here's what I want to talk about though, right? National Association of Realtors, they have a rule where you pay to represent like a buyer, right? And here you go. That's the second point. There have been multiple accusations of inappropriate behavior and harassment within that organization. So that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier, right? Redfin has tried to work with National Association of Realtors in the past, paying them money, hoping to change some of their rules. And the National Association of Realtors, they're a little bit strict, right? So one of the things that they're strict about is they force, essentially, right? They say it's not forced. They say we have a choice. But if you're an agent, and you want access to the MLS, they kind of force you to be part of their organization. So they do the same thing with other rules. They force you to pay their fees and be part of their membership, etc. And some people just don't want to be involved, whether they provide and lobby for them or not. Some people just want the option to say no. Because National Association of Realtors they have so much control over their MLS, they essentially make the rules. And one of the rules that they make is that one of the rules or one of the guidelines, whatever we want to call it, right, is that sellers pay for the entire transaction, right? And the concept is that the seller, right, house sellers, they have the house, they have the most equity and the most money, essentially, right? That's like the concept. And buyers are typically coming in and they're trying to buy the house. So it's most of the time where you hear agents and people say, oh, you don't have to pay anything. The reason why they're saying that is because the fees and the payments typically comes out of the equity of the house. So essentially what the seller is doing is they're paying for a majority of the transaction, right? Now, buyers have to bring their own money to the table as well, but the seller, truthfully, they typically pay more than the buyer, right? And they pay the agent, right? So the way it works on average, right, like a standard within our industry is 6% of commission comes out for selling a house, right? And 3% goes to the person representing the seller, right? The agent representing the seller. And then 3% goes to the person, the agent, and the people representing the buyer, right? But where does that 6% come from? Typically, it comes from the equity of the house, not the equity, but the full total amount of the house. Because sometimes there are loans and stuff. It's a little bit complicated, but that's essentially what it is, right? To oversimplify and help you understand. And it's been like this for a long, long time. And a group of sellers got together, right? Because they were displeased with having to pay for the buyers and the buyer's agents involved in the transaction. And they sued a bunch of organizations, including National Association of realtors about these rules, right? So because it's receiving all this attention and traction and people disagree with it, that's what's happening now, right? So why I'm mentioning all that is because people are saying that this is affecting buyers. And yes, this is affecting buyers, but anytime anything changes in our industry, this affects everyone, right? So I'm going to give you some advice and some things that you can do so you're not affected by it if you're in real estate. But this is going to affect us all, right? And what I see is price is going to rise even more, right? For houses, I don't think houses are ever going to go down, and that's just like part of nature. There's a housing shortage, etc. So there you go. So let me go back to my screen. You can kind of see me reading some of it here. I want you to read down here. Redfin has already given up its big seat at National Association of Realtors before these stories came out. They did not agree with NAR's practices, right? NAR is National Association of Realtors, that seem anti-competitive, right? And I agree, they're anti-competitive. They force most people, right? I love competition, but they force people to be part of their organization, their structure and their rules. And it's like, it's hard to compete with that, right? And I remember this, and it's a little bit, close to me, because when I was a brand new real estate agent, it was tough, right? They take a fee here, fee there. They're taking all these fees from you before you even get off the ground. And I know a lot of people can understand and feel that pain, right? So there we go. It's not in the best interest of the customers, right? So Redfin, which is the big real estate organization, they're asking their agents to leave. And here we go again, right? Same thing, same concept, right? National Association, which I understand they don't want people leaving their organization, but they make it very hard for people to leave their organization, right? In order for you to be an agent, they force you to be part of their organizations with a lot of different companies, right? So here we go. Right. Exactly. Redfin compares this to a restaurant forcing you to order food for your entire family, even if you're eating alone. And if you decide not to eat there, then your family can't eat there either. So Redfin says, let's go. Right. That's essentially what's happened. Here's what the other issue is. They're involved in a lot of metropolitan areas, and I always say this when I'm teaching my students and I'm teaching people how to invest. The best place to go get data is whoever has the most data. And the MLS has the most data. And you can't get access to the MLS unless you are a member of the National Association of Realtors. In many cases, they force you to become part of their organization. And it's kind of unfair because it's like kind of a monopoly, and people just don't like that. Redfin wishes NAR would change this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people wish they would change this and separate access to these important tools from exactly, right? We want access to the tools, not some people don't want access to the organization, right? Like me, for example, I am primarily a real estate investor, right? So I got involved and became involved as an agent because I wanted access to the tools and the data, right? I wasn't primarily like buying and selling houses wasn't my primary goal. I was forced into it because I needed tools to be more successful as a real estate investor. And the only way I could get those tools is by being involved with that organization. And that's what they force you to do. Okay. So, yeah. And here we go. So back to Redfin, and we call it a Redfin emphasizes they don't have an issue with the real estate industry itself, just with National Association of Realtors. Right. Many people don't have an issue. They're like, they just don't appreciate the strictness and the laws and the monopoly of National Association of Realtors. They will continue to support other parts of the industry and work with good people in NAR. They care about their work and have tried to get along with NAR, but feel they can't support them long enough. Right. So that's what's happening. Right. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because we as agents and investors and whoever's in the real estate space, things are going to change, right? And now the reason why people are saying this is affecting buyers is because now buyers are going to have to make some shift, right? Consumers and house sellers are going to become aware of what's happening and say, are you going to make me pay for the buyer's agent, right? So you got to deal with that. You got to deal with the consumers. Next, The cases aren't closed yet. They're still fighting. So they might say, stop doing that. Stop making the sellers pay for the buyers, right? They might make some shift, which I can see that can make sense. So a lot of people, when they first start, there are a lot more buyers than sellers, right? Because real estate is a finite asset. So we have a shortage in houses and sellers, but we have a surplus in buyers, right? So it's easier to find buyers than it is to find sellers. And when you're a brand new real estate agent, you take the easiest path. And that means you don't have to get involved with lead generation. That means you don't have to get involved with marketing. That means you kind of can just show up somewhere and find people that are interested in buying. And then you go to the MLS or on Zillow or a site outside and you put together that transaction and you get paid part of the commission. Well, there's going to be a lot of pressure on doing that. And what that means for you is that it's time to get involved in learning and understanding lead generation and marketing so you can generate your own off-market deals and your own off-market business, right? Because, things like this happen and then we no longer have a way to make money, right? So that's why I'm a big fan. That's why I wrote the book. You can kind of see my book here. So I'm a big fan of learning and understanding marketing yourself. Even if you eventually delegate it, you want to be capable and able to market and generate your own leads, because you can lose out on a case like this. Now, a lot of people are panicking, and I'm not saying that I'm not panicking, but I'm confident that this won't affect me nearly as much because I know how to find my own off-market deals. And if you want to learn how to find your own off-market deals and generate your own business, generate leads, marketing, I highly recommend you go get a copy of my book. You'll see a link in the description. It's called Real Estate Marketing Implementation. The website is remarketingbook.com. Go get you a copy, learn all about it. It also comes with companion guides and video tutorials. You can't get that on Amazon, only through the website. But it comes with those other things that teaches you how you can generate your own leads in your business. And if you don't want to generate your own leads, you don't want to do your own marketing, we have a chapter in here specifically which teaches you how to delegate or hire out that marketing. Hopefully you come to us, right? I run a marketing agency and we can help you do that. But if not, we lay it out in here. How do you go generate your own leads? How do you delegate the generation of your own leads and your own marketing? It's all inside of this book. So I highly recommend that you go get a copy. And for those of you for further, right, I'm putting on a webinar the end of this month, and it's going to be all about how to find your own off-market deals. If you're interested in that, all you have to do is email me. You'll see an email scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Email me and I'll get you a link so you can sign up for that webinar. It'll be, I think it's October 26th, and you can learn all that you need to learn about generating your own leads. There will be an offer, right? I'll offer some coaching and some implementation at the end of that webinar. So if you're interested in like taking things further, but I'm going to show you everything that you need to know to generate your own leads so you can be more successful and take control of your future, right? So you don't have to rely on companies like Redfin and Zillow and Trulia and all those other companies that are pulling out and doing what they want to do because of, the mess that's happening here. And I'm not against any of those companies. Those companies are successful for a reason, right? And a big part of the reason why they're successful is because they run their own marketing. Now, highly recommend that you get involved with this. You go learn and understand your marketing so you can learn how to fish on your own. So my name is Jerome Lewis. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.